Hi, my new video is about the Boeing 737 MAX aircraft, how it was introduced, and the issues Boeing faced in the initial stages, and the two major accidents involving Lion Air and Ethiopian Air, and the grounding of all the MAX aircrafts all over the world. Subsequently, Boeing cleared the issues and FAA recertified the aircraft and is flying again. I made this video in a simple way. Even some systems are also explained so that a layman also can understand. Building of Boeing 737 MAX. In 2006, Boeing started considering the replacement for their 737 aircrafts with a clean sheet design. During that time, Dreamliner was in the anvil, and this new aircraft was supposed to follow that. The decision on this replacement was to be taken in 2011. The sales of Boeing 737NG, the MAX predecessor, was good. At the time of MAX launch, there was a backlog in excess of 3,000 aeroplanes. Then came the new re-engined Airbus A320. On 1st December 2010, Airbus launched the 320neo with a LEAP 1A engine from CFM International, claiming fuel improvement of 20%. At the 2011 Paris Air Show, Airbus won about $72 billion worth of business for its 320neo for a total 730 aircrafts, setting a new record. At that time, Airbus had a backlog of 1,029 units since its launch. On July 20, 2011, American Airlines announced an order for 460 narrow-body jets worth more than $38 billion. The order included 130 A320ceos and 130 A320neos and an intended order for 200 re-engined 737 with the CFM LEAP engines, breaking the long-standing monopoly that Boeing had with the airline. Alarm bell rang in Boeing. They need to do something to compete with Airbus. On August 30, 2011, Boeing's board of directors approved the launch of the re-engined 737 with the same type of LEAP engine offered by Airbus for their 320neos. Boeing expected a 4% lower fuel burn than the Airbus A320neo. Boeing abandoned the development of a new design. Boeing estimated the cost of re-engine the 737 would be about 2 to 3 billion. But whereas for developing a new aeroplane, it will cost about 10 to 12 billion and the time needed to design and build. The original version of LEAP engine, LEAP 1A, has a fan diameter of 198 cm and a bypass ratio of 11:1. Boeing knew that they cannot install it due to its low wing. So another version of LEAP engine, LEAP 1B, was custom built for MAX with a reduced fan diameter of 176 cm and a bypass ratio of 9:1. Boeing also knew that by installing LEAP 1B engine, they are not going to get the Airbus A320neo's 15 to 20% fuel burn advantage. Boeing expected a fuel burn advantage of 10 to 12%. To match with the Airbus A320neo's fuel burn advantage, in 2011, Boeing design objectives were changed. To enhance to 14.5%, following design changes were planned. Boeing had to do the following changes to accommodate the LEAP engine. CFMI had to develop another version named as LEAP 1B with a fan diameter of 176 cm, 22 cm less than the LEAP 1A. Nose landing gear was strengthened and lengthened by 8 inches, but the main landing gear could be only strengthened, not lengthened. Larger diameter LEAP engine was installed on struts further forward and higher up, which created aerodynamic problems to the aeroplane. Airbus for their 320 was ready to accept the original LEAP 1A engine with the fan diameter of 198 centimeters without any redesign because the aeroplane is physically taller and larger. When A320 was designed in 1981, it was built with the bigger high bypass CFM engines. But when Boeing designed its first 737-100 in 1964, it opted for the small, low bypass Pratt & Whitney engine. CFM engines were not in the picture. Hence, they designed 737-100 with a short landing gear so that the cargo loading and maintenance became easy. Boeing never expected their Boeing 737s aeroplanes will be flying even in 2021 with the same main landing. In 1979, Boeing first faced the issue of installing larger diameter CFM 56-3 engines on its low wings when it re-engined Boeing 737-100-200 into its classic series aeroplanes. P&W JD80 is a small diameter engine and is fitted directly under the wing on a Boeing 737-100-200 aircraft. CFM 56-3 engine on a Boeing 737 classic series aircraft with a flat-bottomed nacelle to gain some ground clearance and is installed forward and higher. For Boeing 737 NG aircrafts, CFM 56-7B engines were selected. Its fan diameter is only 1 inch more than the classic engines, so there was no issues. When Boeing wanted to install LEAP engines with a fan diameter of 69 inches on MAX aircraft, they faced major problems. They have done two things. The length of the nose landing gear was increased by 8 inches and the engine was installed higher and much forward. Studies for additional drag reductions were performed during 2011 to catch up with the Airbus in fuel efficiency. It included the following. 1. Long and streamlined tail cone was introduced for natural laminar flow to reduce drag and improve fuel efficiency by 1%. 2. Split winglets added 1 to 1.5% fuel burn reduction. Winglets lower drag and improve aerodynamic efficiency, thus reducing the fuel burn. Engine nacelle chevrons were introduced, which helped to reduce engine noise by controlling the core air mixes with the bypass air. It would allow several hundred pounds of sound insulation to be removed from the aircraft. A lighter aircraft is more fuel efficient. 4. Introduction of EBAS, Electronic Bleed Air System, an electronic bleed air system for cabin pressurization and aircraft ice protection, which will improve fuel burn. 5. Fly-by-wire spoilers. Boeing replaced the mechanical system spoilers with fly-by-wire spoilers in 737 MAX to reduce weight and improve stopping distance. 6. Nose landing gear. It was lengthened by 8 inch to maintain the same 17-inch ground clearance of previous 737 engine nacelles. But the main landing gears were only strengthened and the length could not be increased due to structural reasons. This is demonstrating the difference in engine position between the NG aircraft and the MAX aircraft. Left side is the NG engine and the right side is the MAX engine. There was no option to Boeing other than to install the heavier LEAP engine further forward and higher to get the necessary ground clearance, which subsequently created severe aerodynamic problems to MAX. In 2012, soon after the launch, during internal tests, when simulated high-speed wind-up turns showed aerodynamic interaction between the LEAP engine nacelle and the wing, creating a pitch-up tendency. Various remedial measures were taken by Boeing to avoid the pitch-up tendency aerodynamically. Boeing tried to fix the issue aerodynamically by installing revised stall strips. Vortex generators. Boeing revised the vortex generators pattern. It can be seen installed on top of the wing to delay stall. Vortilons were introduced, which allows flying at higher angle of attack before stalling. Nacelle strike or chain. It is installed to prevent flow separation caused by engine masking the wing when at high angle of attack. Introduction of Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System (MCAS). When all efforts failed to fix the problem aerodynamically, the solution Boeing arrived at was a piece of software, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System or MCAS. Boeing borrowed MCAS from Boeing 767 Tanker KC-46A. It is a safe system used on Boeing 767 Tanker for several years. The system was designed to operate only at extreme high-speed pitch-up conditions that are outside the normal operating envelope. In 2016, flight testing revealed that the low-speed 1G handling is non-compliant against Part 25 of the CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, dealing with the stall characteristics. Let us see what happens to an aircraft in case of an excessive pitch-up situation. Aircraft is climbing and the angle of attack is increasing. Angle of attack is the angle between the aircraft's wings and the oncoming air during flight. When the angle of attack is increased above a point, the airflow over the wings separates and the aircraft loses the lift produced by the wings. Aircraft stalls and falls out of the sky. This is the cross-section of a wing and stalling is simulated here. Airflow separation starts at the trailing edge, and as the angle of attack is increased further, the airflow over the wing separates fully and the wing stalls. What compelled Boeing to install the LEAP engine further forward and higher, instead of installing directly under the wings by increasing the length of the main landing gear? Boeing had a valid reason for not increasing the length of the main landing gear. It was also found that in some small areas of flight envelope, such as approaching a stall and during higher G-force maneuvering, the new engine contributed to the control column feeling lighter. All Boeing's attempt to counter this issue aerodynamically failed, and finally a software called MCAS was embedded in the flight control computer. Subsequently, 2 MAX aircrafts were involved in a catastrophic accidents due to the operation of MCAS after getting faulty signals from the angle of attack sensors. The nose gear of MAX has been extended by 8 inches to increase the ground clearance of the larger diameter engines. There was no difficulty in increasing the nose gear length as it retracts forward. The main gear sits between the wings and retracts inward to the wheel well cavity in the lower fuselage. Lengthening the main gear would require to shift the gear attachment points outward. Otherwise, the lengthened gear will not retract into the wheel well cavity. Lengthening the main gear struts means an almost complete structural redesign of the main wing structure. with consequence on cost, lead time, recertification and weight increase. The main landing gear sits behind the rear spar and retracts inwards. The main landing gear is attached to the main landing gear support beam and to the wing rear spar. Original landing gear position and retraction. Landing gear is lengthened now. Landing gear will not be able to retract as both will collide. Hinge points are moved outwards and retraction is possible now. The main issue is with impact force absorption during landing. The main gear is designed to withstand a certain impact force. If the distance from the center is increased, the impact torque T on the center wing box increases proportionally. Strengthening the center wing box has implications on the weight and the wing root thickness. If the main gear is mounted further outward, a large movement arm acts on the smaller local cross-section. Structures need to be redesigned and strengthened. Redesigning the wing fuselage intersection is a major design effort in cost and delivery time. Boeing could not afford both, and hence lengthening of the landing gear was not feasible. In 2016, during the flight test program, it was found out that in some small areas of flight envelopes, such as approaching a stall and during higher G-force maneuvering, the new engine contributed to the control column feeling lighter. For the control column to have higher pull force feel in these flight regimes, Boeing decided to include an additional flight control law in the STS, which is part of the flight control software that provides required control force feel to the pilot. Thus, MGAS function was added. STS, speed trim system, is part of the flight control computer and is used to augment the airplane's speed stability during certain low speed, high thrust flight conditions like takeoff or go around. It does this by moving the horizontal stabilizer during manual flight. MCAS is a software which is embedded in the FCC flight control computer to automatically command the airplane's nose-down stabilizer to enhance pitch characteristics. Duration of the MCAS command is a function of angle of attack and airspeed. MCAS authority over horizontal stabilizer was increased from 0.6 degrees to 2.5 degrees per cycle. This was needed because the original scope of MCAS was limited to high speeds. When it was adapted for low speeds, the change was required. The pilots manually controlled the position of the elevators with the forward and aft movement of the control column to control the pitch attitude of the aeroplane. Elevators deflect on inputs from the pilot or from the autopilot. Trimmable horizontal stabilizer or THS assist elevators and can be moved to certain angles both up and down. Elevators are also mounted to the THS and moves along with the THS. Pilot can operate the stabilizer electrically by the control wheel trim switches. By turning the stabilizer trim wheels, pilot can manually move the stabilizer through cables. We will go inside the 737 MAX flight deck. Stabilizer trim control switch. stabilizer manual control wheels, and the stabilizer trim cutout switch. The trimmable horizontal stabilizer or THS is being moved by a jack screw. It is located in the tail section of the aircraft. Airplane's longitudinal trimming is achieved with the help of THS. Airplane is trimmed by THS to maintain a particular attitude, such as straight and level flight, or a constant climb, or a constant descent. Without any control surface input. This is achieved by adjusting the THS, thus reducing the pilot's workload. THS is adjusted by the pilot or by the autopilot as required. Air is flowing over the stabilizer is level and no change in aircraft's attitude. If the THS is deflected upwards, the airplane's tail goes up and the nose goes down. If the THS is moved downwards, the tail goes down and the nose goes up. The MCAS function becomes active when the angle of attack exceeds the threshold based on the airspeed and altitude. Let us see how the angle of attack sensor works. In level flight, angle of attack sensor vane will be level as it aligns with the airflow. When the airplane's angle of attack is increased to a high level, angle of attack sensor's vane rotates and this signal showing impending stall will trigger the MCAS. Angle of attack sensors. Boeing 737 MAX has two angle of attack sensors, but the MCAS is triggered by a single sensor. This is because the MCAS software is embedded in the flight control computer. Only one FCC is active at a given flight. FCC flip-flops between flights. In the first flight of the day, if FCC 1 is in operation, next flight it will be FCC 2. LH angle of attack sensor feeds the FCC 1 and the RH angle of attack sensor feeds FCC2. Concern was raised about MCAS relying on a single angle of attack sensor and the impact of MCAS from erroneous angle of attack data and a pilot's ability to counteract repetitive MCAS activation in 2015-2016 itself. But the concerns were not addressed properly. Activation trigger from a single angle of attack sensor. In case of a faulty sensor, MCAS can kick in with dangerous consequences. It would continue to cycle 10 seconds on and 10 seconds off as long as the angle of attack sensor gives high angle of attack condition of the aeroplane to the MCAS. MCAS movement of the stabilizer cannot be stopped with the opposite control column movement as in Boeing 767 Tiger. If the pilot interrupts during the 10 seconds on period by applying the electric pitch trim switch in the opposite direction, the MCAS will stop. Pilot will think that the stabilizer movement is stopped by the MCAS. But what would happen is that after 5 seconds, MCAS will start its second cycle, 10 seconds on and 10 seconds off, as long as the condition exists. And there is no MCAS failure warning lights. Stabilizer trim motor can be stored by the stabilizer trim cutout switches. In this case, the stabilizer control is still available using the manual control wheels. On all the previous 737 models, if the stabilizer was being moved either by electric pitch trim, the autopilot, or by the STS, speed trim system, moving the control column in the opposite direction will stop the stabilizer trim motor. But on 737 MAX, because the MGAS needed to move the stabilizer in opposition to control column movement, the control cutout function was inhibited when MGAS was active, allowing the airplane nose down stabilizer motion with the airplane's nose up control column input. MGAS schematic diagram. LH angle of attack sensor signal is passed through ADM to the ADIRU. The signal is processed by ADR, which is a component of ADIRU. This process signal is sent to the captain's primary flight instruments. Another function of ADIRU is to supply air data, that is airspeed, angle of attack and the altitude signals, to the autopilot and to the flight control computer. Both NG and MAX include a speed trim system that automatically moves the horizontal stabilizer in response to the changes from the trimmed airspeed while in manual flight for speed stability. Stabilizer speed trim function or STS is part of the FCC. MGAS was added to STS to improve the aerodynamic pitch effects associated with the 737 MAX larger, more forward located engines when in manual flight, with the flaps up at elevated angles of attack. To compensate this, MGAS operates stabilizer trim motor for 10 seconds and pauses for 5 seconds. MGAS signal passes through the stabilizer trim cutout switches to the stabilizer trim motor. Stabilizer trim motor can be stopped by switching off the stabilizer trim cutout switches. Let us see the RH side. RH angle of attack sensor signal passes through its ADM to the corresponding ADIRU. ADIRU's ADR supplies the process signal to the first officer's flight instruments. ADIRU also supplies to FCC number 2. Stabilizer speed trim system is part of the FCC and MGAS is added to the STS. Boeing 737 has 2 FCCs, but only one is active on a flight. Active FCC flip-flops between flights, starting from FCC 1 and the next flight FCC 2. So if LH sensor overreads on the first flight, it will trigger MGAS as it happened in both 737 MAX accidents. Both accident flights were the first flight of the day. If the fault was on the RH angle of attack sensor, it would not have triggered MGAS. It would have only affected the first officer's flight instruments. On December 8, 2015, the first 737 MAX, named Spirit of Renton, was rolled out of the factory. Boeing 737 MAX maiden flight was on January 29, 2016. Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines flight accidents. Lion Air PKLQP, Boeing 737 MAX, the airplane involved in the accident on 29 October 2018, experienced problem with its airspeed indication on the previous 4 flights. Subsequently, the angle of attack sensor was replaced in Denpasar, Bali on 28 October before the plane departed for Jakarta on its penultimate flight. The refurbished angle of attack sensor was miscalibrated 21 degree high. 28/10/2018 night, Lion Air Boeing 737 MAX PKLQP took off from Denpasar, Bali to Jakarta. Stick shaker activated as soon as the airplane airborne, and IAS disagree and all disagree warning and field differential pressure light illuminated, followed by NCAS activation when the flaps were fully retracted. With the flaps fully retracted and due to the very high angle of attack value, MGAS operation was triggered, which led 3 automatic nose-down stabilizer trim. Both the pilots were unaware of MGAS and did not know what was happening. Pilot could not control the airplane and had called pan pan, indicating an emergency situation. There was a third pilot sitting on the observer seat, and he noticed that the stabilizer trim wheels were spinning uncommandedly, and he told the pilots flying to switch off the stabilizer trim cutout switch, which fixed the issue. Pilot cancelled the pan and continued the flight to Jakarta and landed safely. 29/10/2018, next day morning. Airplane is ready for flight. Previous flights tech log entry made by the pilots read like this: IAS and alt disagree shown after takeoff and field differential pressure light illuminated. Pilots did not write about the traumatic experience they faced, like the 3 times automatic nose down trim and switching off the stabilizer trim cutout switch. Engineers did not comprehend the seriousness of the problem and carried out the routine snag rectification and did not find any fault and cleared the tech log entry as NFF, no fault found, and certified the airplane as serviceable. 6:32 local time. Lion Air flight number JT610 from Jakarta to Pangkal Pinang is on a takeoff road. First flight of the day. As the nose gear lifted off the runway, the left control column stick shaker activated, which continued for the most of the flight. Followed by the takeoff config warning. Captain's control column stick shaker activated. The landing gear is being retracted. Altitude disagree appeared. The altimeter on the captain's PFD indicated 340 feet and the FO's PFD indicated 570 feet. Altitude disagree message appears if the altitude indication on both the PFDs differs by more than 200 feet for more than 5 seconds. Indicated airspeed disagree message appears if the airspeed indication on both PFDs differs by more than 5 knots for more than 5 seconds. Angle of attack disagree alert was part of the indication on all the previous versions of Boeing 737 aeroplanes. It appears in case of variation to the angle of attack position indicators of captain and FO. In 2017, it was known that angle of attack disagree missing on airplanes due to some software glitch. Later, it was made an optional feature on Boeing 737 MAX series. On both crashed aeroplanes, it was not opted. If the angle of attack disagree alert was available on the crashed aeroplanes, it could have been easier for the pilots to identify the issue. Now the question is, why the IAS disagree and alt disagree alerts appeared when the issue was with the angle of attack value difference between LH and RH sensors. Let us go to the MCAS schematics once again. Pitot static and total air temperature sensors fed into its own ADMs, where it is converted to numerical information and provides to ADIRU. Air data reference function of the ADIRU processes the signal and applies to a static source error correction to indicated airspeed and altitude. Error in angle of attack value will affect the indicated airspeed and altitude of the respective side, and hence the IAS disagree and alt disagree alerts. The Lion Air aircraft started to turn to the left. Aircraft TGPW sounded bank angle. The captain's altimeter indicated as 1310 feet and the first office is indicated as 1540 feet. Pilot selected the flap to 0 position. The flaps reached the fully retracted position and the MGAS automatic hand trim was active for about 10 seconds, during which the horizontal stabilizer pitch trim decreased from 6.1 to 3.8 units. The flaps remained at 0 until the end of recording. The automatic trim down activated repeatedly until the end of the recording and generally followed by the manual electric trim up. From the time the flaps were set to 0 until the end of the recording, there were at least 26 automatic trim down commands and at least 34 manual trim up inputs. After repeated operation of MCAS, the plane crashes into the sea at high speeds. Grounding of Boeing 737 MAX airplanes all over the world. The second crash of Boeing 737 MAX was on 10/3/2019, Ethiopian Airline ET302, in which the angle of attack sensor failed during takeoff at 74.5 degrees. Crew switched off the stabilizer trim cutout switches but were unable to move the stabilizer trim wheel manually due to the high aerodynamic loads and re-engaged them. Airplane crashed 1 minute later. The early observation was that pilot error was the main contributing factor in both accidents. All 346 people on board in both the flights perished. On March 18, 2019, all 387 Boeing 737 MAX aircrafts in service were grounded. Changes made to 737 MAX and released to fly again. In this case, one of the two angle of attack sensors, RH, is serviceable and the other sensor is unserviceable. Flight control system will now compare inputs from both angle of attack sensors. If the sensors disagree by 5.5 degrees or more with the flaps retracted, MGAS will not activate. An indicator on the flight deck display will alert the pilots. Both angle of attack sensors will be used now. An angle of attack split vane monitor and middle vane selector have been added to prevent MCAS from using angle of attack inputs which differ from the other angle of attack input by more than 5.5 degrees. Both FCC's flight control computers will be in use for MCAS operation. Boeing will introduce a third synthetic angle of attack sensor in the future. Another change made is in the flight control computers. Dual processor monitors and cross FCC monitors were introduced. MCAS max control limit is reduced. The control column cutout function, which was there in the earlier versions of Boeing 737 and which was modified for MCAS, is now being restored. In all the previous versions of Boeing 737, if the stabilizer was moved either by electric pitch trim, autopilot or by STS, moving the control column in the opposite direction would stop the stabilizer trim motor. But on Max, control column cutout function was inhibited when MCAS was active. It was done because MCAS was needed to move the stabilizer in the opposite direction to the control column movement. MCAS will only be activated once. MCAS will never override the pilot's ability to control the airplane using the control column alone. If a failed angle of attack sensor circuit is detected, FCC will only utilize the valid angle of attack sensor value to control MCAS. The split vane monitor and MVS integrator will be bypassed. If the split vane monitor detects a difference in angle of attack sensor greater than 5.5 degree for a specified period, the MCAS and STS function will be disabled for the remainder of the flight. Actions taken other than fixing MCAS. MCAS details were added to Flight Crew Operating Manual, Aircraft Maintenance Manual and Fault Isolation Manual. 8 QRH procedures were revised. Aeroplane Flight Manual limitations revised for autopilot single channel operation. 10 MMEL restrictions added. Pilot type conversion training is added to cover STS and MCAS, crew procedures and related software changes. CDS software updated to make angle of attack disagree alert standard on all aircrafts and a free option to have angle of attack display. After making the necessary changes to Boeing 737 MAX, FAA cleared the airplane to fly again. American flew from Miami to New York on 18 November 2020.